So a few days back, the CEO of Roblox, David Baszucki, went on a New York Times tech podcast called Hard Fork. It was supposed to just be a regular interview, nothing major, but things went downhill fast and it turned into a huge embarrassment for Roblox. In that interview, David Baszucki somehow managed to hype up this gambling-style prediction market feature on Roblox like it was some genius move. On top of that, he doubled down on their new AI age estimation system, which plenty of people have already shown can be bypassed using tools like Sora AI. The whole thing just made him look completely out of touch. After that interview, he ended up looking like he had no idea what was going on, super defensive, and completely out of touch with the reality of what's happening on Roblox. Before we get any deeper into this, make sure to like the video and subscribe to help me hit 50k subs. And share this around too because people need to see what's actually happening here. So there's this one part of the interview that I have to talk about because it honestly shows how ridiculous the whole thing got. They were in the middle of a serious discussion about child safety on the platform, and the interviewer points out that David Baszucki looked like he was getting annoyed. And instead of responding normally, he goes into this weird drawn-out explanation about how he isn't frustrated at all. He's actually super excited to talk about everything. And then he starts talking about trying to figure out how much fun time he gets with them.
I mean, look, I can tell you're getting a little bit frustrated here.
I'm actually not frustrated. I'm so excited to talk. I thought we were going to be talking about funny things in the industry and all of that. So I'm not frustrated. I'm just kind of figuring out how much fun time I have with you guys and how much fun time we have versus kind of this super focus.
Got it.
But I'm happy to talk about whatever you guys want.
The whole thing was just awkward and confusing to watch. What does fun time even mean in that context? What kind of fun time is bro talking about in the middle of a serious conversation about safety issues? The whole thing was just weird and it made him look completely disconnected from what was actually being discussed. Honestly, that moment set the tone for how uncomfortable the rest of the interview felt. And that wasn't even the worst part. It gets even crazier after this. So going back to the start, the interview begins with the host trying to figure out what's actually happening with Roblox, and he asks David Baszucki how he sees the problem of predators on the platform. And immediately, instead of actually addressing the issue directly, David Baszucki says something that's honestly pretty concerning.
And how do you think of the problem of predators on Roblox?
We think of it not necessarily just as a problem, but an opportunity as well. How do we allow young people to build, communicate, and hang out together? How do we build the future of communication at the same time?
Instead of addressing the fact that children are being targeted, he bizarrely labeled predators as an opportunity. He reduced a serious threat to an exciting business puzzle and then drifted into a monologue about the future of communication. That moment alone proved just how out of touch he was for the rest of the interview. The interviewer eventually cornered him with the hard facts, pointing out that lawsuits show the platform is basically a hunting ground for predators. David didn't even bother trying to clarify the situation. Instead, he interrupted mid-thought just to shout down the claim, saying he categorically rejects it. He didn't bother with facts or logic, he just refused to admit the problem exists, but the host kept the pressure on, asking him straight up if he thinks they have a predator issue on the platform, and this is how he replied.
You don't think you have a problem with predators on the platform?
I think we're doing an incredible job at innovating relative to the number of people on our platform and the hours in really leaning into the future of how this is going to work.
He literally couldn't just admit they have an issue. Instead, he tried to overwhelm everyone with the sheer size of the platform. He started flexing stats about 11 billion moderation hours, acting like the company is just too massive to be held accountable. But the moment the interviewer brought up how easily predators trick the filters just by swapping a couple of letters, David shut down completely, literally saying he wouldn't comment on it. That kind of dismissal is actually insane when you look at what's happening in the real world. While he's refusing to comment, the lawsuits are piling up, including one filed literally yesterday. We're talking about a 13-year-old kid who was viciously blackmailed for photos by a pretending to be a child. That's the reality David is trying to ignore. Things took a weird turn when the Hindenburg report came up. The host grilled him on the allegation that Roblox is cutting corners on safety just to pump up their numbers for investors. The report basically exposed that despite all their big talk, their actual spending on trust and safety has reportedly gone down. As soon as the Hindenburg report was mentioned, his patience ran out and his whole mood completely switched. He got super defensive, acting like he was offended that they even asked. He tried to brush them off by saying the group disbanded, basically implying they don't matter, but that's a weak excuse. The group might be gone, but the proof they posted is still right there.
Last year, activist fund and short seller Hindenburg Research came out with a report arguing, among other things, that Roblox was, quote, compromising child safety in order to report growth to investors. One of the things they pointed to was that there had been a decline in your spending on trust and safety. You have denied that. Why? What did they have wrong?
So, fun. Let's keep going down this. And so first off, Hindenburg's no longer in existence, correct? So you should report on that. They went out of business for some reason. The other thing is, have you researched that information? Because you're asking me about this. I'm curious if you've done your own research.
Then he completely ignored the topic and tried to reverse it on the host. He asked if they had actually checked the facts. It felt super defensive and honestly kind of rude, like he was trying to make them look bad just to escape the question. When he finally answered, he gave the standard corporate runaround, literally comparing child safety to an assembly line for cars. It was super clear he didn't have a real response to the safety backlash. Honestly, the more he tried to explain himself, the shadier he made the company look. He acts like switching to bots is an upgrade, but that's actually dangerous because the AI is so easy to trick. It just doesn't get how players actually speak. I'm talking about basic stuff like spelling words wrong on purpose to get past the filter, swapping letters for numbers, or using weird slang that looks normal but actually isn't. A real person looks at that and knows exactly what's up, but the AI ignores it because it's just looking for specific keywords. And we know this doesn't work. Just look at the new age verification system. People found ways to bypass that almost immediately. It just proves that trusting a bot to do a human's job is a mistake. So when he brags about moving to better AI, let's be real about what that means. He's not talking about safety. He's talking about saving cash. He's basically admitting they want to cut costs and just pray the computer figures it out. When kids' safety is involved, you can't just be cheap. The interviewer literally tried to tell him this, pointing out that even Mark Zuckerberg tried this AI-only strategy years ago and it completely flopped. But David wasn't having it. He cut him off again and threw out another defensive line that had literally zero to do with what they were talking about.
Roblox decision matrix.
I also remember 15 years ago
I'm so glad you guys are aligned with the way we won Roblox.
Right. I also remember 15 years ago when Mark Zuckerberg was saying...
Is this a stealth interview where actually you love everything we're doing and you're here to stealthily support it?
He literally asked if this was a stealth interview where they secretly supported him. Like, are you delusional? They are grilling you about lawsuits and safety, and you think they are undercover fans? It just proves he is totally out of touch with reality. He wouldn't listen. He just kept talking over everyone. He dodged the questions and refused to take the blame. Honestly, he made the company look way worse because he kept interrupting constantly. It felt like arguing with a little kid who just yells because they don't want to hear the truth. Then the interviewer asked the most obvious question possible. He literally just asked, how do you measure success? Basically, how do you know for sure that the game is safe enough to tell parents, go ahead, bring your kids here? You'd expect the CEO to have a clear answer for that, but his response was honestly worrying.
I'm comfortable telling parents, bring your kids to Roblox.
We see all of those metrics internally all the time. They're not publicly shared. We're watching filter rates, we're watching this rate, we're watching all of that rate. Those metrics constantly get better as we add more and more AI on top of it. As you said, we're constantly running at a higher scale as well. My kids are on Roblox. We have thousands of people in the company. Their kids are all on Roblox.
His answer was basically that we have the stats, but we won't show it to you. Just trust us. He literally just expects us to believe him for no reason. Then he went right back to the same excuse he spammed the entire video, that the AI is fixing everything. He keeps claiming the game is getting safer, but if he won't show the proof, it's all just empty talk. He keeps the actual data locked up so nobody can check it. Instead, he tried to convince us by saying, well, my kids play Roblox too. He acts like just because his kids are on the app, that proves it's safe for everyone else. But that is not a real argument. That is just a personal story, and honestly, it proves absolutely nothing. But the next line is the worst. Instead of stepping up and fixing his own game, David just tries to blame the parents for the entire problem.
But I would say, and I've said it on other things, if a parent is the ultimate arbiter of responsibility, and if a parent out there for any reason is not comfortable their kid going to the park, not comfortable their kid playing with a certain toy, not comfortable being on Roblox, who am I to say, right? And so I do leave that to the parents' responsibility. I just operate as an example. Like, what would I do with my own kids?
He straight up tells parents, "Not my problem. Just stop using the app if you don't like the drama." That is absolutely insane, especially when you look at all the massive lawsuits and investigations they've had over predators. David is worth billions, and he still tries to dodge all accountability for the platform. This is the final massive contradiction that proves everything. This guy is obsessed with telling us about his huge scale and all the robot safety tech. He wants the praise for being a giant, but he won't take the hit when there's an issue. It clearly shows the core problem. Roblox is happy to talk about innovation and the future, but David immediately runs away from accountability and says it's the parents' job, not the platform's. The final moment of the interview hinged on a question about future money bets on the platform. The host simply asked if Roblox would ever go there, and the entire platform was waiting for him to say no, obviously. But David totally threw everyone off when he gave his answer.
Would you ever put a prediction market inside Roblox, like let kids bet with their Robux and say, I bet he's gonna steal a tung 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 sahur,
or I bet he's not gonna dress to impress?
Yeah. To be clear, I think this is a horrible idea. I was just interested if you were thinking about it.
Well, I actually think it's a brilliant idea if it can be done in an educational way that's legal. And so I imagine a no free Robux, no free prizes, just a game called the Dress to Impress Predictor, where it's not like trying to get kids money or anything like that. I would be a big fan of it.
Interesting.
This interview closes out with David showing he lives on another planet. The host tossed him the question about letting kids bet Robux, and he actually replied by saying it's a brilliant idea. That's his real answer, even when the host said that it was horrible. But David was completely locked in, pushing the idea that it would be fun. He got fully excited, talking about a new game called the Dress to Impress Predictor. Are we serious? A CEO under investigation for child safety is sitting here planning casino games for 10-year-olds. This man is totally delusional. And here is the part that actually breaks my brain. This man wasn't trolling. He sat there looking like he just discovered fire, expecting us all to clap for his genius idea. The entire internet saw that clip and realized the truth instantly. This guy is totally lost. He genuinely doesn't get why turning his app into a casino is a bad move. It has to be the most clueless thing a tech CEO has ever said on camera. There is no better example of how reckless Roblox has become. The backlash has been absolutely massive. Obviously, even Penguin Zero made a video roasting this, basically calling David a total clown. The whole interview was just a giant embarrassment. It didn't fix anything, it just proved that the company is living in a complete fantasy world. Honestly, I don't even know what else to say. We have a CEO pitching casino games for kids while the platform is basically on fire. It is actually unbelievable. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Is David totally lost, or is this just how Roblox runs things now? Drop a like and sub if you enjoyed the video. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.